Strap in for the world's fastest half hour. You're on the Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. And brought to you by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Herbert and Ralph Shaheen.
It's Vegas, baby. The NHRA teams are headed to the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the NHRA Toyota Nationals. Today is Reigning Champs Day as we set up the racing weekend ahead in the city known for making champions. Top Fuel champ Brittany Force and Pro Stock motorcycle titleist Eddie Krawiec join us here on MRN's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the studios here at MRN, Concord, North Carolina. Ralph Shaheen and Doug Herbert with you on our spooky set as we get set. You know, a skull over
Scary,
here in the Tootsie Roll.
I wonder who's the ex-employee.
That's your candy over there. Don't get into my Tootsie Rolls over here. Those are highly sought after in my household. So we're going to talk about reigning champs, guys and gals that already have a number one on the side of their car or their motorcycle, as the case might be, getting ready for the Toyota Nationals coming up at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're working our way towards deciding who will be the 2018 champions. You've been a champion more than once. You know about all the pressures. What are these people living through right now, knowing the number of races is quickly going away?
Well, that and, the extra pressure being Pomona, extra points and a half. I think, starting from Top Fuel, Steve Torrance, he's settling in pretty good. He's got a fairly, a sizable lead. They could actually clinch the championship at Las Vegas this coming up weekend. So that, I think the pressure is maybe coming off him a little bit. He's won all four countdown races. Not too bad. Now, Funny Car, a little bit different story, right? We've got Robert Height. He's been a champion before. He's got plenty of pressure coming up on him. And then we got J.R. Todd chasing him down really close behind. There's a lot of pressure on J.R. Todd, I guarantee you, from, Coletta, Scott Coletta, Connie Coletta. The team won the championship with Del Worsham just a couple years ago. So I think J.R. Todd's got a lot of pressure on him. I think Robert Height's got a lot of pressure on him. Let's see who deals with that better. I don't know. That's going to be tough. I think when you get in the car, you think about racing, and you only worry about your lane, your light, what's going on with your car and your team at that time. Because if you start looking at that big picture, it's gonna drive you nuts.
Well, one of those current reigning champions is joining us on our Racing Electronics hotline right now, and that's Eddie Krawiec from the Pro Stock motorcycle category. Now, Eddie, great to have you with us here today.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, tell us about the pressure that comes owning a number one plate and trying to get another one.
Oh, there's none with it, What more can you do besides go out there, race, and not think about it? I wish it was easier said than done, but the hardest thing is maintaining the number one position, because when you have the number one, there's only one way to go. It's hard to maintain and stay where you are, but going down is a lot easier. So I have a couple people gunning for me, and right now we're in a really good points battle.
Hey, Eddie, the Vance and Hines team is pretty well recognized for winning more championships than anybody else in that Pro Stock motorcycle, with Terry Vance and Byron Hines and Matt Hines and Andrew Hines and Eddie Krawiec. I mean, you guys are like you've been running the house for quite a while. Does that give you a little bit extra confidence or put extra pressure on? I know Terry really very well, and Matt and all those guys. I mean, you've got a really deep bench over there.
I think it definitely helps with experience. I want to say we know how to handle ourselves going into these situations. Sometimes people tend to make mistakes, but the two other people that are right now that we're currently fighting with are veteran guys, and they know what they're doing too. So, you got Ellie and you got Matt Smith, and it's for sure a tight points battle. And when you look at it, I've just been on the wrong side of the coin flip for these 1,000 race losses. It's like 1,000th of a second against each individual, and it's just because the racing now is so tight. You need to be on your game. I mean, I'm going out being 15 or 20 on the tree and going home, and it just shows you the level of racers in the class and what everybody's doing. But I know I have a good group of individuals in my corner for support. They're going to give me the best motorcycle that they can. And I think for these next two races, it's going to be the battle of whoever can make the least amount of mistakes and charge forward aggressively.
So what do you got to do here, Eddie? 56 points is the gap. As you look at this, like you said, you've been so close. Do you try to change up your program, or do you just stay where you are, hoping that the luck suddenly turns a little bit and starts coming your way?
Well, I'm going to stay where I am because, I'm 20 on the tree and running close to low ET of the round. You're going to win a lot of races. And, unfortunately for me, I've had people in the other lane that just, they're good. They go after it. They're 10 or 15 on the tree, or, we're identical, and we fell off. Our consistency on our bike's been struggling. On mine, on getting it off the starting line. As we know, 60 foot can make or break pretty much your whole run, and it's hard to make up 2 or 3 numbers in the back half of the track versus the front half. So it's a lot easier to go 105 60 foot. When you go 105 and then you fall off the next round to a 108 from tire spin or something, it's kind of plagued my bike a little more than Andrew's or probably a couple other people. But we're struggling with the way the tracks are prepped. And I say it because it's a different procedure. Now, NHRA has done a great job. It's much more consistent, and it's everything. Everything's been good, but it's really hard to gauge what you're going to have each and every round. And when the consistency is not there 100%, makes it a little hard.
And Eddie, one of the things that is a little bit different with you from some of the other guys is you're actually building those Suzuki engines for a competitor that you got to pull up there in the starting line next to. Does that change anything that you guys do over there?
No, we try to give everybody the best equipment we can give them. That's what it's about. I think that's the integrity behind the company. That's what we do. I mean, these last couple of races, I've been out in the shop putting engines together because we've been just so busy and a lot of things going on. And for me, it's good. I don't mind that, but we definitely know what the competitors have, and they can beat you with it. So it's been proven. Jerry's won championships and Ellie's won championships, all with the engines that they've gotten from us. But I think for us right now, the main focus would be is try and be as consistent as possible. Go out there. You almost can't think about the championship because if you start riding defensively and, staying off to the side and trying to be conservative, that's when you get yourself in trouble. So I'm just going to focus on going after it.
Eddie, I know we got to let you run because you got to jump on a plane here, but one thing that you bring to this title fight that's different for everybody else is an army of Harley-Davidson fans, and that is a different thing that I don't think everybody talks about each and every week on the NHRA Tour. But literally, there are thousands of people that are Harley owners, like myself, who are cheering to see a Harley-Davidson win. So that's got to help you in some way, does it not?
Yeah, it does. We have such a unique fan base, and everybody comes by the pits and yells and screams, and they give you words of encouragement. And when you screw up, trust me, they let you know that you messed up. So it definitely, it's an awesome deal. And to have the group of individuals and Harley just being a partner of ours is it's an amazing thing. And I love being a guy in the forefront here that gets to represent that team as well as my teammate Andrew. And we are proud to have black and orange Harley banner flying.
Well, Eddie, thanks for joining us. We know you're the guy that puts up the awning, puts the engines together at the track, does everything there is to do. So good luck this weekend at Vegas, and good luck finishing out the year strong.
Thanks, guys. Good talking to you. And hopefully we could talk in a couple weeks with some exciting, news out of the end of the season. So we'll see how it all goes.
All right, good. We look forward to it. Eddie Krawiec, the Screaming Eagle, Vance and Hines, Harley-Davidson crew joining us here on our Racing Electronics Hotline. Stay with us. We're coming right back for more Straight Line presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $28.95 and get a $10 O'Reilly gift card by mail. Protect your engine from sludge and wear with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
NHRA drag racer Doug Herbert here to talk about safe driving. In early 2008, my 2 sons were killed in a car accident that was caused by speed and inexperience. After the accident, I learned that over 6,000 teenagers each year are killed in car accidents, so I formed a nonprofit organization called Brakes. Brakes stands for Be Responsible and Keep Everyone Safe. Please visit our website at putonthebrakes.org to learn more about responsible driving and what you can do to keep our roads safe.
Welcome back to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Ralph Shaheen and Doug Herbert.
We'll save that. Welcome back, everybody, here at MRN's Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Doug Herbert, Ralph Shaheen, getting ready for the upcoming Toyota Nationals at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. There's a lot going on in Vegas this week because you've got the race, and then right after that is the SEMA show. Everybody sticks around for that. The drivers will all be making appearances all over the place in Las Vegas, but they've got to be thinking about Pomona right after that.
Right.
So how are they going to deal with this?
Well, I think they're thinking about Pomona, but they're also going to SEMA show to think about business, right?
Yeah, 2019.
And sponsorships, right?
Yeah.
Putting deals together for next year. So I think that'll be a lot of it. The guys that are going in there with a championship close at hand, possibly for this year, we'll have a lot more probably to talk about. But I think it's more going to SEMA show, talking about business, mingling with the fans, right? Linda Vaughn,
Yeah, sure.
And just all the stuff that goes along with the business of high performance.
And look, it's fun. Trust me, it's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work, and it can be very tiring just wandering those aisles and everybody you see and the gripping and the grinning and the talking to everybody. It is a challenge for everybody to survive SEMA show.
Right. You're going to wear 2 pairs of shoes out just walking around that place because it's just so huge. And then actually they've got another hall over there at the
Apex.
Harrah's or whatever.
Yeah,
the Apex show going on at the same time for maybe more traditional type parts, that kind of thing. But the show is incredible. They've got drifting demonstrations going on outside. They've got car building stuff going on with like Foose and some guys like that. It's an incredible show. If you're into high performance, if you're into cars just in general, it's definitely a place to go and just see the new parts coming out. This is usually where all the manufacturers debut their new items that are going to be coming out, their hot stuff for next year, maybe new engine components, that kind of thing. SEMA shows where they debut.
Yeah, this show, the SEMA show, is really, everybody kind of talks about it. It's everything from fuzzy dice and air fresheners to high performance pieces and parts and chrome wheels. And they tell you you can have a good idea as how the economy is doing by the amount of chrome wheel manufacturers that are displaying there. Then when it gets to the PRI show in December, that's really all the racer pieces and parts, the hardcore components. So surviving Vegas is going to be a challenge in general for some of these racers as they try to think about Pomona. Now, if you're Torrance, you want to just lock this up, put this away, and then start celebrating as soon as you can.
Right. Yeah. Go to Vegas this weekend. Get done what you need to do, and then go to Pomona and not have to worry about it. But man, as strong as that team is, well, I as far as I know, I don't think any top field team has won 4 races in a row before. So they've won 4 races in a row, and they're in a really good position to sweep the whole countdown, really. I mean, how incredible is that? That just what Steve Torrance's team has done with Bobby Lagana, Richard Hogan. I mean, they're unbelievably strong.
They're kind of in a spot where you almost don't want the year to end because you're running so well that you don't know if you can carry that through December and January back to February and Pomona again.
Man, I don't know. Over the winter, a lot of things happen, right? The guys are going to be working on their cars all winter. They're going to be coming up with new parts, new trinkets, trying to go testing. I don't know if they still do that Palm Beach testing or not, but everybody will go to Phoenix before Pomona testing out there and just, kind of getting the things figured out. And then the unknown factor is, what is NHRA going to change for rules? Are they going to have new safety things? Are they going to have new engine control modules or anything like that that'll affect whatever else goes on with the cars, and maybe change some of your components that you have on the car now. They won't work anymore. Something that maybe give you a tip this past year. So who knows?
Well, and we're going to have an opportunity to find out about some of that, because coming up in next week's edition of MRN Straight Line presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts, Glenn Cromwell, president of NHRA, is going to be here with us. We're going to have an opportunity to talk with him a little bit about what maybe some of those changes are going to be in 2019 and the future beyond that. So you're not going to want to miss that show. Let's talk a little bit about Las Vegas this weekend and everything Chris Powell and the gang have done out there at that racetrack to get ready for this week. How do you think the track is going to perform this weekend?
Well, that track, everybody remembers they just redid it. They made it a 4-lane racetrack to kind of mirror what we have here in Charlotte, and they had the first 4-wide just this spring. So I think the track is going to be excellent condition. There's no doubt about that. The weather in Vegas is a little bit of your unknown factor. It can be windy, it could be rainy, it could be cold, it could be hot. You really don't know what you get in Vegas. So Vegas is kind of a tuner's track. You've got a little bit of altitude built in there. The weather, Vegas is a difficult place. But then when you look back over the years at the people that always seem to do good there, it's Alan Johnson and Force. Whatever. I mean, it's like the same guys that do good at Vegas. They always do good at Vegas, and everybody else just kind of like survives going through Vegas is what it kind of seems to me like.
Right. That's Vegas anyway. It's always
Vegas.
about surviving Vegas, no matter what you're doing out there, right? And we're going to survive this commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Straight Line after this.
Things happen fast in racing, and if you don't know where to look, you can miss it all. With Legend from Racing Electronics, you'll never miss another moment. Legend gives you live fan vision video, in-car cameras, and stats at premier National Series events, and the next generation race scanner for unfiltered driver and crew audio at any motorsports event nationwide. Race fans have never been closer to the action. Welcome to the future of the fan experience. Learn more by visiting racingelectronics.com.
A rough-running engine could be suffering from buildup of fuel and oil deposits. Smooth out a rough engine, restore power, and improve fuel economy with Seafoam Motor Treatment. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and purchase 2 bottles of Seafoam Motor Treatment and get 1 free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hello, MRN Crew Call. Yes, you want to schedule an appointment with Sammy, Joe, and Rocco? I can do that. Now that comes with an all-access look down onto pit road. Are you okay with that? Sure, it's as close as you'll get to interviewing the race car. Now, do you need a reminder? Okay, you're scheduled for Wednesday at noon Eastern. Just come to MRN.com or the MRN Facebook page and ask for Crew Call. We look forward to seeing you. Goodbye.
You're staged for another run on the Straight Line. Brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Once again, here's Doug and Ralph.
Welcome back to this Halloween edition of MRN's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. And I think if we're going to have a Halloween edition of the show, it's probably perfect that on our Racing Electronics hotline is the driver of the Monster Energy Top Fuel machine, the reigning champ in Top Fuel, Brittany Force. Brittany, great to have you with us here today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So coming up is Las Vegas, and you're still right in the thick of this points chase. How is it carrying that #1 ranking or plate with you into this race this weekend in Las Vegas?
Oh, it still seems surreal. I honestly don't know where the season went. It flew by. I feel like I was just putting that #1 on my car, opening race in Pomona. It seems like that was just yesterday. So it's unbelievable that, we're already back where we were last year when we were locking this thing up. And, I'm excited to get to Vegas. We had a weekend off, but we made a big jump just 2 weeks ago when we left Charlotte, went all the way to the final round, moved up. We're in 6th right now in points. And there's still a lot of points out there that we could take advantage of and keep climbing that ladder. 2 more races left, so I'm ready for it.
Hey, Brittany, you came, starting out this year with the #1 plate on the car, and then you had such a tough start to the year. It's taken a little while to come back, and like you said, here last weekend at Charlotte, you were back to the old form, it seemed like.
Yeah, it did. It really took all season long. I mean, opening race in Pomona, we wrecked and really didn't get back until, got back in the car in Phoenix 2 weeks later, but really it was our old car. It was a spare car that we had. It wasn't our brand new car that we planned to run all season, and in the process we were rebuilding a new Top Tail car. And we brought that out in Dallas, and we brought it out in Houston, Texas, and actually won the race there. And then from there, we've really been struggling. We've had a lot of troubles this season, but really turned things around, like I said, in Charlotte. We found a problem with the car, made some heavy changes before Reading. We came out, had a good weekend in Reading, went to Charlotte, went to the finals there, and I feel like we're back. Like I said, we've had a rough season, but definitely turned things around, and anxious for this last two. We want to get back in that winner's circle for Monster Energy, Advanced Auto Parts, and bring home 2 more wins if we can.
Brittany, in every professional sport, they always say that winning a championship is tough, and that maybe repeating as a champion is even tougher. What has been the toughest part of that process for you?
The toughest part would be probably coming back from wrecking in Pomona. It's a part of the business. It comes with the business. Things can go wrong. You can wreck. I've been fortunate enough. I've been out here for 6 years, and I've never had a mishap. I've always been perfectly fine. Never had anything too crazy go wrong. And in Pomona, I had a terrible wreck. And trying to bounce back from that, not just me as a driver, but crew chief and my entire team. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of work on my guys. It was a lot of work on me physically and mentally. Getting back in the shape, getting back in the role of things. Until we came out and won in Houston, and that was a big win for us. I remember my interview, I got all emotional just because of, where we've gone. We left last season #1, biggest high of ever in my career, and then we came back to Pomona, we wrecked, and it was just so up and down. So that win was a big victory for our team.
Brittany, John Force Racing. Obviously, you've got a lot of teammates over there that are pretty stout. Your brother-in-law Robert Height leading the points in funny car. Your dad, he's like the all-time champion, and then your sister has been really, she was knocking him dead the whole first part of the year. The regular point season in funny car. Tell us a little bit about the rest of your team and how they're going and what you guys are looking at to finish out these last couple races.
Yeah, honestly, I think we've had a fantastic year. Looking back at last season, Robert and I both won the championship. That's huge when you could have, when you could double up in championship, funny car, top deal. So that was big for us. Coming back this season, again, we got off to a slower start. But my dad's chasing it down. Courtney's chasing it down. Right now, Robert is #1 in the points, and he's going after a championship. But, Courtney and my dad are not too far behind them. Still not out of reach for them. And, they're going to see if they can pull off these last 2 races, get some wins, and move up there in points. But overall, I think we've had a great season, and, we're all just rooting each other on.
Yeah, they're 6th and 7th in the championship standings, respectively. As you make your way to Las Vegas, what is it about this racetrack you like?
I love this racetrack just because it's a familiar racetrack. I've been coming here since I was just a kid. I raced here with my sister Courtney in Super Comp and A Seal, so a lot of history here for our family. I've never gotten a win here. Last year I lost in the final round, driver error. I red lit, so I definitely want to redeem myself this year, and I'd love to get a win here. It's almost a home track for me. We have friends, family that always come out and support us, and I love it. It's Vegas. It's one of my favorite tracks on the circuit.
Hey, Brittany, at the end of last year, they had Monster came out and said, we're not sure if we're going back with Courtney with the Forces next year. And then you guys won the championship, and it was cemented in. They couldn't go anywhere. They had to be with you. You're the champion. Are things still going good? You guys looking good for next year?
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out everything for next year, but so far everything looks good. We're still finishing details on everything, but proud to have Monster on our car for the Vegas and Pomona. Also Advanced Auto Parts, they've teamed up with me this year. Peak has teamed up with me this year, so I've had a lot of different looks, but the fans love it, I love it, and we're just trying to do our job to bring home a win for all our sponsors.
Brittany, you talked about everything you went through this year, and winning a championship is a big part of growth as a driver, and then you have to deal with all the issues you dealt with this year. In some ways, I'm sure you're already looking towards 19. How have you changed as a driver with everything you've gone through here in these last 2 years?
I definitely realized what I'm capable of, just from the championship. That was huge on its own, because it came down to, it was a battle between Steve Torrance and I. And, the fact that our whole team battled it out, and under pressure, we got the job done. Sometimes people crack under pressure, and that was my biggest fear leaving Las Vegas with a red light under my belt, was cracking under pressure. But we all pulled it together as a team and won a championship. So really just, that's the biggest thing for me, is seeing, what really you're capable of when you put your mind to anything.
Well, Brittany, when the pressure comes on, you guys got it done last year, and your crew chief, Brian Houston, and then, of course, tuner Alan Johnson, seems like they really know how to go when the pressure's on. Have those guys been able to offer you a little bit of advice? And then, of course, you got some pretty good other people, too, that can offer you some advice.
Yeah, absolutely. They're incredible. Alan Johnson, Brian Houston, they're the greatest team out there. Last year we went into the countdown, took some points, and moved all the way up to first. So that was a huge jump for us. But if you look at just Pomona, we were number one qualifier. We locked up the championship in the second round, and we won the race. So, hats off to them. They pulled it off. I'm very proud to be teamed with them, and they're incredible. They delivered like I've never seen before.
Brittany, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this before we let you go here, because I know you got to get running. But with Halloween right around the corner, give us the best Force family Halloween costume you possibly remember.
Let's see. We've had so many growing up as kids. We got a lot of hand-me-downs. Courtney and I always got Ashley's hand-me-downs, but I'm trying to think.
Or maybe it's a Halloween moment. Maybe it's something, Force family Halloween.
Probably a few years ago, my little sister had a party at her condo, and everybody showed up in costumes, and my dad showed up, and he was all upset because he didn't know he was supposed to dress up. And we told him, it's Halloween, of course you're supposed to dress up. So he went outside and carved up Courtney's pumpkin that she had sitting on her front doorstep and stuck it on his head and wore it the entire night. And it made the night. He wore that thing all night long, and we have pictures of it. If you scroll through my Instagram, you could probably find it. But that was probably one of the greatest last-minute costumes for sure.
Oh, that is epic, and I knew you'd have a good one for me. Hey, Courtney or Brittany, thank you very much for joining us here today. All the best with you this weekend with that Monster Energy Top Fuel Dragster. We hope you have a great one out there in Vegas.
Thank you.
All right, we look forward to seeing it. Brittany Force joining us here with an outstanding story, as I knew she would deliver.
Force just never, John
never
Force.
Disappoints.
Yeah, he just never disappoints.
Disappoints.
He's amazing. He's a one of a kind, and drag racing is lucky to have that guy in our side.
Oh, absolutely. Brittany Force with us on our Racing Electronics hotline, and we'll be right back with more Straight Line here at MRN, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. And we won't top that story, I guarantee it.
Hey race fans, it's Ralph Shaheen, and like you, I have a huge passion for racing. With the most in-depth features on racers, series, and events, no one covers racing better than America's original motorsports publication, Speed Sport. Get your subscription to Speed Sport magazine today at speedsport.com.
A dead battery can leave you stranded, so get yours tested for free during Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Need a replacement? Purchase a Superstart Extreme or Superstart Platinum battery and get up to $25 in O'Reilly gift cards after a mail-in rebate. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
MRN.com has you covered. Check out our original digital program, Motorsports Monday, with Joey Meyer and Woody Kane. Wing Nation with Steve Post and Aaron Evernham. NASCAR Coast to Coast with Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse. Crew Call with Sammy Joe and Rocco. NHRA Talk on the Straight Line. Classic NASCAR races on Throwback Thursday. The Inside Line has all your fantasy racing picks. Rip the Fence with Tyler Burnett and Dylan Welch. MRN.com original digital programs.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, back to Ralph and Doug.
Welcome back to The Straight Line. We've had some great guests on our Racing Electronics hotline today. Brittany Force with an epic story about her father, John, on Halloween, and of course, Eddie Krawiec. And we always love to thank our friends at Racing Electronics for bringing that hotline for you for 3 decades now. Racing Electronics has been the #1 choice for racing scanners, headsets, and the popular FanVision handheld unit. Racing Electronics provides the ultimate fan experience for drag racing fans. Stop by our trackside locations or visit racingelectronics.com for more information. Okay, well, before we wrap up this Halloween edition of The Straight Line, we got to do our red light, green light. Maybe it should be orange light, black light with a Halloween theme, right? But in thinking about it, Doug and I decided we go green light because it's a positive storyline. I want your favorite Halloween-themed, monster-themed race car or machine.
Well, you know, the thing that comes to mind, first of all, is the Spider-Man Larry McBride Top Fuel motorcycle.
Good
I don't
one.
know if anybody has ever seen a Top Fuel motorcycle run. They don't run them all that often anymore, but they are awesome. I think they're 260-something mile an hour. They're 5-second quarter mile. They're just unbelievable to watch. And then Larry McBride is like the king of, of the Top Fuel bikes. And he calls himself Spider-Man. He's got a Spider-Man suit that he wears to ride the bike, and the bike's all dressed up like the Spider-Man mobile or whatever. Yeah. So I guess that's my coolest one, the Larry McBride Spider-Man.
He's a great guy too. Yeah,
great guy.
It takes a whole nother mindset to ride those Top Fuel bikes, doesn't it?
Well, he builds them from scratch, He builds the whole thing from scratch and then rides the bike himself, and he loves it, And when you look at him and you look at it, you're like, like this guy's a little bit crazy, but you have to be a little crazy to drive one of those
frame
Top Fuel
rails
bikes.
and a nitro motor, right?
Yeah.
Well, so for me, it goes back to my kid days growing up watching the Munsters and the Dragula, Grandpa Munster's coffin car. And he goes and he races Herman, who's in the black coach, The Dragula was the coffin car, and that to me is mine. Cool. Plus, I got to meet Grandpa once.
That is awesome.
Yeah, he owned a restaurant in New York City,
wow.
And literally it was in New York City on Halloween, and we come walking around the corner and it says Grandpa's. They're like, we're going in there for dinner. We walk in, and who's going around the table? Grandpa Munster.
Wow. Well, that's a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
Well, I think all those cars, some that George Bears built for that Monster show, just unbelievable. I mean, he built some works of art and did some neat cars. Him and my dad built a couple of neat cars too. Did it as well.
Yeah. Happy Halloween to you.
Happy Halloween. Yeah.
There you go. Have a Tootsie Roll on there. From all of us here at MRN Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Happy Halloween to you and yours. Have a great time out there. Be safe with the kiddos. And we hope to see you next week when we talk about the business of drag racing.